gonna tell it to you in order. I'm just gonna tell you what happened at the wedding, because to put it in order don't make no sense. First of all, they have 24 people in the wedding. Who you know really got 12 friends? 12 groomsmen, 12 brides. The colors they chose was chocolate brown and mint green. Ain't none of the women went to the same store. You know how many shades of green it is? Them heifers were standing up there look like a bag of Skittles. It was mint green, lime green, money green, emerald green, yo green, her green, grass green. I said, Lord have mercy. And two of her girlfriends is dancers. Oh, no. Not Alvin Ailey dancers. I'm talking about, come on, this dance, pole. Stripper, wrap your leg round it, let's go. Now these two heifers, one of them got a tattoo of a snake going up her leg, and it wraps around her thigh, and the snake is biting at that thing. Now they done modified their gown. They done told a split all the way up the hill. That's how I know the snake head is biting at it. Now they coming up the aisle just advertising. We in church, my Aunt Agnes said, oh no, you ain't looking at them, you black son of a in the church. Now my little wife, Steve, they cussing in the church. I told you don't say nothing. See, you wanted to come here, I said don't say a thing when we get here. You the only one upset about the cussing at the church. This is what they do. Everybody used to this in here. You don't see nobody else saying nothing. We at the wedding, you wanted to come, now we here. Now I'm gonna tell you something else that happened. This ain't in order, it don't make no sense. My niece has always had a dream to have on her wedding day a horse and carriage. Look, when you ain't got money, it's some things you need to start checking off your list. You ain't got the money for all this here. Now, you thinking white horse, white carriage. Here her and Ricky come around the corner. They done borrowed the man wagon that sell watermelons in the hood. Old brown horse, got a dip in his back, got hay all on the back of this buckboard, got some watermelons on it. She just coming around the corner just as proud. She get down off of the buckboard. They throwing the rice on her before the wedding. Here come my wife. They not supposed to do that. They ain't supposed to do none of this. We ain't supposed to be here. But your little wanted to come. Now you get the rice and throw it. Now she gone in the church. She in the church, they walking her in. I get ready to go in the church, and I notice little Ricky is still on the buckboard, and he crying. He rubbing his leg. I go to the buckboard, I said, Ricky, why don't you come on, man? You finna have a way. My leg. I said, what's wrong with your leg? I'm under house arrest. He got an ankle bracelet on, and his stupid rolled too far from the house. Now it's just staying in his. Boy, get your stupid down off that buckboard and walk up to the front of the church. Maybe it'll stop hurting so much. We get in the church. Oh, it get worse. These two fools done decided that they gonna write their own vows. They get in Mike, little stupid thug. Yeah, mic check, yeah, one, yeah, little Rick up in here. I just want to say, you know, that I'll be there for you forever. You know, through the thick and the thin, you understand? I take care of you and everybody up in here, because I'm hard like that, you know what I'm saying? I promise to be with you forever. You know, rich and for poor. But you know, to hell with that po though. You know, Rick go out here and make it happen. I do whatever I got to do. I got to go back to prison for you and the kids. I go back. My wife, I'm ready to go. We got to get out of here. You can't do this in the Lord's house. We ain't going no way. I told you we shouldn't even have come to this crazy wedding. Yeah, now you all of a sudden you won't be a Christian. So she was so distraught. Steve, this ain't right. This just ain't. I said, okay, cool, let's go then. Because she was just too upset. But I told her, you know. So we walking out the church. And we get almost to the door and I hear the man say, and now we are going outside for the releasing of the doves. Bring your on, come on. Because ain't nowhere in I'm finna miss this. I know good and well you ain't got no money for no doves. You know how much white doves cost? Y'all, I went outside. I was the first one at the cage. I'm standing there. Because they finna be good. My wife, we have to go. We ain't going no well. That old man came out and opened up that cage. All kinds of birds flew out of there. It wasn't a white dove